والواجب فيما بين الناس أن يقيموا مصلحة التأليف والتعاون ولا يؤذي أحد أحدا إلا إذا أمر به الرأي الكلي ونحو ذلك. ولذلك كان الذي وقع على امرأة يعلم أنها أجنبية قد أرخي بينه وبين الله حجاب وكتب ذلك من اجتراء.
قد أرخى بينه وبين الله حجاب. قد أرخى علق.
قد أرخى بينه وبين الله حجابا وكتب ذلك
من اجترائه على الله.
من اجترائه على الله. وإن كانت امرأته في الحقيقة لأنه أقدم على مخالفة أمر الله وحكمه. والذي وقع على أجنبية وهو يعلم أنها امرأة لا يألو
أنها امرأته
لا يألو في ذلك كان معذورا فيما بينه وبين الله. وكان الذي نذر الصوم مأخوذا بنذره دون من لم ينذر. وكان من تشدد
دون من لم ينذر أو ينذر both.
من لم ينذر. وكان من تشدد في الدين شدد عليه. وكانت لطمة اليتيم للتأديب حسنة وللتعذيب سيئة. وكان المخطئ والناس معفوا عنهما في كثير من الأحكام. فهذا الأصل يتلقاه علوم القوم وعاداتهم الكامنة منها والبارزة فيتشخص الشرائع في حقهم حسب ذلك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. Imam Rahmatullahi alayh, he is mentioning that different Sharias in different time, that was the requirement of time, place and nature of the people concerned. So that was in accordance to the circumstances. That was the need of the time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given that Sharia. Then Imam Rahmatullahi alayh, he says that now Allah, who is that kind to the people and to his creature, he has due rights on his slaves, means the human. And his due right is to obey him, to magnify him, and not to violate any rule and law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is actually the relation between Allah and the creature. And then the human amongst themselves, what is their right towards one another. So the same thing we were talking in Tafsir, to help one another, to cooperate with one another, to coordinate with one another. So that is the right of humans towards humans. And number two, like as on the side of Allah, look at me, obeying his order and not violating any order of him. Got it? So obedience and no violation. That is obedience on positive side, no violation on negative side. Got it? So regarding human amongst themselves, cooperation and helping one another on positive side, not to harm one another on negative side. That on positive side, that is needed. On negative side, this is needed. And then Imam Rahmatullah says, yes, exceptions are there. Sometime somebody is getting harmed, but for a general public interest. For what? General public interest. So that is apparently is looking harm, but actually that is not harm, because the public interest, that is prior to individual interests. In circumstances, public interest, that is prior to individual interest. But it doesn't mean that you will leave the individual harmed as is. You have to compensate him. For example, you are making a road, you are government responsible. So right in the middle of the road, there is an apartment of someone. Now, to break his apartment, that will harm him. Yes, that is harming him. But as the general public interest is prior, so it gives you the right to demolish and abolish that apartment, but to compensate him somewhere else. You are getting it? So Imam Rahmatullah says, you cannot apply this rule 100% because there are circumstances where harming is allowed and that is permissible, that cannot be avoided. And Imam Rahmatullah is giving us an example. If somebody in a dark night, he saw a lady sleeping, yes, and he thought of that lady, that is some strange lady. I don't know where from. And he went to her and he started. Got it? Got it? Later on, he came to know that that was his own wife. That was his own wife. So even though the action in result, that was permissible. But when he was doing it and he started, he actually broke his haya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would be punished for that. Because from his side, the violation is done already. Got it? And another guy, in dark night, he went to one woman. He was sure that that is his wife. That is his wife. But later on, when his job was done, and she woke up, she was a strange lady. So this guy, Allah will not punish him in the hereafter. Because he did not do behayai. The only thing is, he would be questioned, why you were that blind? You have to make it sure before time. Yes, you were hanging it and just, why you did it? Got it? But for that action, he would not be punished accordingly because he was not violating the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Got it? And also, a third example, to fast tomorrow or day after tomorrow or whatsoever, which is not farz. So if you will not do it, you are not responsible for that, nor you will question why you did not fast on that day. Got it? But if somebody, he vowed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I pledge to Allah that tomorrow I will fast. Tomorrow I will fast. So he would be questioned for that. But I have not done that pledge. Allah will not ask me for tomorrow day that why you did not fast. Got it? So Imam Rahmatullah says you have to understand the Sharia like this. So Imam says, وَحَقُّ اللَّهِ عَلَىٰ عِبَادِهِ فِي الْأَصْلِ. And the due right of Allah on His slaves originally is أَن يُعَزِّمُوا غَايَةَ التَّعْظِيمِ, to magnify Him, yes, to utmost. وَلَا يُقْدِمُوا عَلَىٰ مُخَالَفَةِ أَمْرِ بِوَجْهٍ مِنَ الْوُجُوهِ. And in no way anybody can come forward or should come forward to oppose His order. وَالْوَاجِبُ فِي مَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. And wajib amongst people is أن يقيموا مصلحة التاليف. Talif mean jod, patch up. What? Patch up. والتعاون, cooperation. ولا يؤذي أحد أحدا إلا إذا أمر به الرأي الكلي ونحو ذلك. And not to harm another one, but when the public interest is there. ولذلك كان الذي وقع على امرأة. And that's why the guy who did sex with a lady, يعلم أنها أجنبية, and he was thinking or he was knowing that this is a strange lady, قد رخى بينه وبين الله حجاب. It means that at that time he tried to hang a curtain between him and between Allah because he was violating His rule. وكتب ذلك من اجترائه على الله. So now this action of him, even though in the end it was known that that is his own wife, but as he did it, so actually he showed his muscle to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, to doing that thing that was sitting in his mind that I am committing zina. وَإِنْ كَانَتِ امْرَأَتُهُ فِي الْحَقِيقَةِ لِأَنَّهُ أَقْدَمَ عَلَى مُخَالَفَةِ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. Because his action was that he came forward to violate the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وحكمه and his order. والذي وقع على أجنبية, and that guy who did the same to a strange lady ويعلم أنها امرأته, but he was sure that that is his own wife. لا يدو في ذلك معذورا في لا يدو في ذلك, يعني he did not do any shortcoming in this regard. Yes, he made himself 100% sure that that is his wife, but later on, dark night, it became other way around. So he will be ma'zur fi ma baynahu wa bayna Allah, in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not here in this world. In this world he would be taken to a court of law and he would be punished accordingly. But on the day of judgment, Allah will not punish me. وَكَانَ الَّذِينَ ذَرَ الصَّوْمِ, and that guy who vowed a fasting to Allah, he is makhuzan, he is responsible, binazri, for his nazar, duna man lam yanzur, not the one who has not done that nazar. وَكَانَ مَنْ تَشَدَّدَ فِي الدِّينِ شُدِّدَ عَلَيْهِ, and the one who made the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hard for himself, so there will be hardship for him. It was nafal. You should have, without giving a pledge or vow to Allah, you should have fasted, you would have been rewarded. But you did hardship to yourself. So now if you will not do it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you accordingly. وَكَانَتْ لَطْمَةُ الْيَتِيمِ لِلتَّادِيبِ حَسَنًا, if you will slap an orphan to discipline him, so that is considered a good deed. وَالْتَعْزِيبِ سَيِّئًا, but if you want to harm a yatim and to slap him, so that is a major sin. وَكَانَ الْمُخْتِئُ وَالنَّاسِي مَعْفُوًا عَنْهُ فِي كَثِيرٍ مِنَ الْأَحْكَامِ, and in so many rules in Sharia, someone who did something mistakenly or someone who did forgetfully, so they are considered mazur, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them. فَهَذَا الْأَصْلُ يَتَلَقَّهُ عُلُومُ الْقَوْمِ وَعَادَاتُهُمُ الْكَامِنَةُ مِنْهَا وَالْبَارِزَةُ. So this general rule, يَتَلَقَّهُ عُلُومُ الْقَوْمِ وَعَادَاتُهُم, the ulum of the people and their adat and customs, their adat and customs al-kaminatu minha, the one which is inscribed there inside their nature, wal bariza, are those adat that are not that inside, but these are adat, people are doing like this, so they have taken this asal. فَيَتَشَخَّصُ الشَّرَائِعُ فِي حَقِّهِمْ حَسْبَ ذَلِكَ. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is sending them the shara'i and the rule accordingly like this. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَلَى خَيْرِ خَلْقِهِ مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ وَأَصْحَابِهِ أَجْمَعِينَ بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Bismillah.